So I'm going to start with a poem that was published in Alaska Quarterly Review, and then I'm going to read which appeared in my most recent book, All Its Charms, and then I'm going to read all new stuff, most of which hasn't found a home yet. And I'll just briefly tell you the love story of my wife and my marriage, which is that we were together first a long time ago, and for a few years, and then we broke up for 7 years, and during which time we did not speak and we were not in touch. And she reached back out to me after 7 years, and I said, "You better have a good reason for getting in touch." And she said, "I do. I've tried to live without you and I can't. Can we try this again?" So this poem that was published in Alaska Quarterly Review was written not too long after that. At Golden Gate Park with you, to watch the sea change color as steam liners move across it, to watch your eyes change color as my hands move across you. There is no perfect metaphor for the act of turning you on, but I try anyway, until the slick-skulled koi, the nasturtiums sweating on the vine, everything becomes your body twisting in my arms. So those were the fun days. Now we have 2 children. We have a 2-year-old and an 8-year-old, and they dominate our lives. And I do most of my writing at night. And so I'm fond of saying that all of my new poems are about my wife, and she is fond of saying that very few of them are about her. She just appears in them always asleep. She's always sleeping in these poems because I write them at 2 o'clock in the morning, and she's there sleeping next to me while I'm scribbling drafts of them. So I thought I would read a couple of poems that are not really about my wife, but in which she appears sleeping in them. And then I would read some poems that really are more about my wife. This poem is called At 40, the Mountains Are More Green. Here, the melting, there, the glacier already gone. All these years, I've watched my body as if from a distance nearly geologic, the comings and goings of 1,000 tiny fossils against my flesh. Last night, beside my sleeping wife's form, in the ageless glow of my phone, I scrolled past the before and after of butt implants, celebs who maybe did or didn't, and the pregnant model who last week had the silicone removed from her breasts. "I'll still have boobs," she said. "They'll just be pure fat." Upstream, they're taking out the dam, diverting the creek. This morning, I woke to the dull scalpel of dozers. Soon they'll loose the fish from the chute, and finally the bodies within that body will be free. So for years, I tried to write poems that were really smooth and that didn't have any rough edges in them, and things that didn't belong together, never rubbed up against each other, like the removal of a dam and the Kardashians' body augmentation surgery, right? So, it would have been inconceivable for me to try to put those things together. But now I'm really interested in work that wants to put those things together, because those things do rub together in our world, right? And they create strange reactions in our minds and in our hearts. And I'm interested in exploring those strange reactions on the page too. So it's sometimes surprising to me, even when I read those new poems, that I've decided to do something strange. And in this next poem, I also do something strange, which is that I use magical realism, which is something that I think more love poems maybe would benefit from. And I consider this a love poem, even though my wife is just asleep in it. With Garbo in Palm Springs. We're at the resort, the one with the 41 pools, and it's night. So if we were up in the swaying fronds of a palm tree, the ground would stretch before us, a green freckled thigh against a dark sheet. But Greta and I are inside, perched on the edge of the bed, watching my wife sleep. She's beautiful, we agree, and my daughter too. Their blonde hair spread against the pillow like a silk scarf in a silent movie. Though now Greta's impatient with all the watching, the kid especially. So we go outside to smoke her cigarettes, to lean our backs against the white adobe walls and kiss for as long as it takes. The electronic lock clicks behind us, a set of delicate teeth, and I'm chasing Greta across the lawn with its lemon trees I can smell in the dark, past the lounge chair where someone's abandoned the sort of wide-brimmed hat meant to keep us young, over the patio, still warm as skin from the sun's relentless shining, toward the place where she's already slipped off her dress and climbed into the water, side stroking with one arm and holding her smoke aloft with the other. And if I say it's a dream, it will have no power. And if I say it's real, no one will ever believe me. But can't it be both? I want to rub my body against her perfect one. So I do, all my nubbly parts sanded down against the smooth monument of her form, ageless as the desert once was before we came here and turned it into a golf course. Now only my hunger, its vast, unquenchable fury, interrupts the glow of each long leg as she traces egg beater circles in the blue depths beneath her. All right, I'm gonna read two more and I'll switch to poems in which my wife actually shows up. It's scary to write so many poems about your partner, but that's the path I'm on right now. Scary, but exciting too. This poem is called The Rats. They come home with our daughter because there's no one at school to feed them on the weekends. They are mates, and like all true companions, they are devoted and they bite. We set their cage on the kitchen table and wait for the weekend to end, for our girl to fall asleep so we can talk about God while the rats lick the silver ball that delivers the water one drop at a time. There are so many points on which you and I disagree. The value of a clean counter, the purpose of parent-teacher conferences, what warrants a good cry or calling you a name so cruel I make myself whisper it through my teeth. God is the least of it. When I think I'm so angry I could hit you in the face, you turn yours to me with a look of disbelief. The rats, meanwhile, have turned up the volume. Tick, tick, says the silver ball as their teeth click against it. Thirsty as ever, thirstier still at night when the darkness wakes them. And during the day, when they're curled together in their flannel hammock, head to tail, two furry apostrophes possessing nothing but each other, paws pressed together as if in prayer, to what gods do they prostrate themselves then? God of fidelity? God of forgiveness? I lied when I said I didn't believe. Who, even me, the coldest of heart, could turn away from a sea parted, bread that multiplies to answer need, water transformed to the sweetest wine, the kind that tastes better for each year it's been left in the barrel. What? Okay, I'll end on a happy one. In the outdoor shower with my pregnant wife. The old Frisbee from Burger Chef, once red but faded now, the pale pink of my wife's widening areolas, lies upturned beneath the saltwater drip of our sagging beach towels. This world is full of objects succumbing to the gentle ebb of decay. But her body, loosening breasts and blue-veined thighs caught in a cascade of wet light as she turns beneath the showerhead's senseless spray, is not one of them. That low blooming shudder and heft at her hips can't compare to her belly button skin, stretched taut and thin, become the pale sail of a boat screaming into harbor. I am here to praise the way in which everything I have ever loved about her body is about to be ruined forever in the breaking open. Tonight, the wind will come up, turn the towels on the line into fat bells, churn the waves into a froth, drag the sand out and leave it where our toes can't touch. In the morning, the ocean will return to its languid sheet, but the beach will be strewn with the wreckage. I want already the body scarred by stretch marks, the extra flap of skin to hang soft at her waist, the feet that will never again be quite so small. I want to worship the body after the storm, the one I'm imagining already as she unfolds the straps from her shoulders and peels the suit off, her skin covered in those minute and glittering fragments of shell some people insist on calling sand. Thank you.